Good morning. So I'm Richard Rogers. I usually lead the Wednesday night service, and this month and next month I'm doing double duty. So I'm Wednesday and Sunday. So I'm very glad you showed up. Thank you for being there. It's a little worried that maybe nobody's going to show up on a Sunday. So thank you for being here. So our intention this morning is for you to have a profound experience of the presence of God and be inspired to live your greatest possible life. So we're glad you're here.
And I'm Jimmy Scott. I do the pastoral care ministry here at Unity of Phoenix, and I can only do one duty, but I do that well.
Your wife's over there shaking her head.
Yeah, I know. What does she know?
Whoa!
I'm sorry, honey. Let's stand and wait a minute. You got me all flabbergasted now. So let's
Maybe
take our.
the chaplain should just start praying for you right now.
They already
right?
are. So let's affirm our mission statement together.
Unity of Phoenix is a loving spiritual community that welcomes all people and honors all paths to God.
We are dedicated to transforming lives
by inspiring and awakening individuals to discover God's Spirit within them.
So now's that time in our service for a time of prayer and meditation. If you have your cell phones with you, I want to encourage you to place those either on silence or vibrate. And Brittany will lead us in our meditational song.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Song that speak to feeling God's presence. And a large part of the prayer and meditational process is about literally feeling the energy and the expansiveness of God. So that's why we set aside this time every Sunday morning to consciously open our hearts and our minds to that great indwelling and supportive Spirit of God, and to be reminded of who we are in God and what God is in us. So as we begin, I invite you to take a deep, refreshing breath. Just to give yourself permission to get comfortable in your seat and to consciously release and to let go of all of your cares and concerns. And just feel the energy and the presence and the power of God. Just feel it in your body temple. Be aware of it in your thinking. And for the next few moments, just shut out all outer distractions. And rest in the silence. The poet Milton said the mind is its own place, and in and of itself can make a heaven or a hell of anything. In the quietness, we are reminded what true heaven is all about. Becoming open and receptive to God speaking to us and through us. So we give thanks for this awareness in the name and through the nature of the living Christ. And for this time together, may we say, Amen. And so it is.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and we forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Oh, Brittany, was she fabulous or what? She's fabulous. And do we have the greatest music team? Do we have a great Craig? What a great job. Mark, Mike, Scott. Thank you guys. Okay, so here's the question. Do you think you're living all the good that God has for you? There's one not quite, and a lot of confused faces. So 3 weeks ago, we began a series called The Summer of Miracles. And I am so committed to you having a miracle in your life. I am so committed to you having more good than you've ever known before, because I don't think that most of us are even close to scratching the hem of his garment how much good God has for us. And I want to teach spiritual ideas each week that allow you to access more good. So my question for you today is, what's your miracle going to be? Do you know what your miracle is? Are you really clear about the miracle that you want? Are you really clear about what you desire and in what area in your life are you willing to be more blessed? Because we can go through this and do an 8-week series. And you can hear all the spiritual ideas that I share with you each week, and it can be a complete academic exercise. Oh, yes. The miracle of this and the miracle of that. Isn't that lovely, right? But if your life isn't better for it, it doesn't matter. Because the best part of unity is its practical spirituality. It's actually designed to impact your life. That you're supposed to come on a weekly basis and walk out of here and live a better life. Because the promise is that God still has more good for each and every one of us. But then we can learn how to access the kingdom in greater and greater and greater ways. So what's your miracle? What is the area in your life that you'd be willing to experience greater good? Is it in your relationships? Is it at work, in your finances? Maybe it's in your body. What's the miracle that your soul wants? Are you willing to be clear about that and to open a space where God could bless you in a greater way? Because I don't want you to miss it. I don't want you just to go through the motions of life. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's right here, right now. So how fully blessed are you willing to be? And you think, well, I got a great life, Richard. I know, isn't that fabulous? But imagine that as great as your life is, that God has even greater good for you. And at some level as a planet, to get to the next level of good changes everything. What if we're only at 2%? What if we're at 2%? What if there's 98% level of good that we haven't allowed in yet? Would you be willing to be the one that models the next level for all of us? I am living the miracles of God. Will you say that with me? I am living the miracles of God. One more time like we actually mean it together. I am living the miracles of God. I am wildly blessed. Together. I am wildly blessed. One more time with all you got. I am wildly blessed. So today we're talking about asking. The miracle of asking. Now, how many of you, it's easy for you to ask people for help? We got, it's usually like 3 men. right? It's usually there's like, in any size room, there's usually about 3 people that say, oh yeah, it's so easy for me to ask for help. And most of us are like, no. And it usually comes down to 2 reasons. So why is it hard for you to ask? Why is it hard for you to ask for help? And it usually comes down to 2 reasons. The first one is we don't want to be an imposition on anyone. Like, I don't want to ask because then I'm going to be a bother, and I don't want to be a bother, so I'm just not going to ask. So that's the number one reason we ask. The second one is a little sadder than that. The other reason that we don't ask is because we don't think anybody will help us anyway. Right? It's kind of pathetic, but that's the reason we don't ask, is because first one is we don't want to bother people. The second, well, what's the point of asking? Because nobody's going to step in and help anyway, right? So those are the 2 major reasons why we don't ask. And what if today your miracle depended on you to ask? What if it absolutely depended on your ability and your willingness to ask for more? Would you be willing to practice asking this week? Would you be willing to ask not only God, but everyone around you so that you get to practice asking? I ask. Would you be willing to try? Over 30 times in Scripture it's recorded as Jesus saying ask. He said ask. Right? The implication is that we have to ask before we receive. Now, how many of you know what Unity teaches about affirmative prayer? Anybody know anything about affirmative prayer? We got 1 guy. Anybody else know? We had 2. We're up to 3, 4. Affirmative prayer. Affirmative prayer is this idea that we don't beg God for more stuff. Affirmative prayer is this idea that we already have it, that we've already been given it. That in affirmative prayer, we affirm and acknowledge that the kingdom of heaven is already here. It's already done. Every blessing that we can imagine has already been given to us. So we're not begging Big Daddy God for more stuff, right? We're actually affirming that whatever it is that we desire is fully present. And as we affirm it, that we begin to see it. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Anybody like resemble or have heard that concept somewhere along the way, right? So over and over again, what I want you to see is that we believe in the power of making a declaration. I am one with the infinite goodness of God. Together? I am one with the infinite goodness of God. Now, does that sound powerful? Can you feel like when you really give yourself permission to have a declaration that it's incredibly powerful? Now, 100 years ago when Unity started, was that the dominant way that people were praying? No, the average way people prayed 100 years ago was, right? That our prayers were, the more pathetic we could get in our prayers, we believed that our prayers were more powerful, right? We believed that the sadder, more victim-y, more, oh, woe is me tone of voice that we could use, we thought God would take pity on our little soul and cut us a little bit more allowance. Is it true? Right, so it was like, woe is me, life is hard, this is terrible, I know I'm supposed to wait for my reward in heaven, but could you cut me a little slack now? Right? That was kind of the variation on the theme, right? And so when unity came into the world, unity taught the spiritual truth that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, that all the blessings are already here, that your soul has already been gifted with all that God is. So we affirm the truth to acknowledge that we are one with the infinite. So over and over and over again, unity taught affirmation. From Job 22:28, you shall decree a thing, and it will be established upon you, that there may be light upon your path. We decree a thing. Over and over and over again, we decree. And what I want you to feel is that this is part of the masculine side of our spirituality, right? Right? I am one with the infinite. Let's say that together. I am one with the infinite. Now, I want you to say that from your power place, your internal power place. Do you know where that is? Let's say it one more time. I am one with the infinite. I claim the infinite abundance of God. Together? I claim the infinite abundance of God. Now, when you do it, when you really do it, it's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly powerful to claim that which you desire. It's so powerful. Now, what's the other side? If a declaration is the masculine side of asking, what's the other side? Receiving because we've asked, right? Now, the way that it was being done 100 years ago, was that a powerful way to do it, asking? No, it was pathetic, right? We were taught to pray and to ask from our victim place. That's not what this is about. It's about learning to ask and learning to make decrees, both from our place of power, that we can powerfully declare and powerfully ask. I ask for the kingdom of heaven to be fully manifested in my life. I ask for that. And what I want you to see is over and over again, through these two activities of declaring and asking, we actually multiply the strength of our prayers. And I want you to see that if you're open to a miracle, there's going to be times when you need to ask, and there's going to be times when you need to declare. And I'm going to invite you today, part of your homework is I want you to come up with one declaration and one ask, both pertaining to your miracle. And maybe if they fit together, you're going to feel the power of both of them. I am one with the infinite goodness of God. Let's make a declaration. I am one with the infinite God. What did I say? Well, one with the infinite goodness of God. Let me try it again. I am one with the infinite goodness of God. Now let's create a good ask. Spirit, show me the way to live in the infinite goodness of God. Together? Spirit, show me the way to live in the infinite goodness of God. Now, does anybody feel diminished by that ask? Does anybody feel less than because they asked? Does anybody feel like, oh God, I've just beseeched myself, I've just limited myself because I asked? No, that if we actually do it, if we declare and ask together, because whatever we ask can be provided. The problem is that most of us have spent a lot of time doing bad asks. Now, what's a bad ask? Oh, there was a K at the end of that. There was an ask. Sorry. Don't tell Richard, all right? Let's just let it go. Let it go. Just take it out right out of the CD. Just take it out, okay? Okay, so here we go. So what's a bad ask, right? A bad ask is like when we say to the universe, why does my life never work out? Why do I never get what I want? Why does everything always break on me? Why does everybody treat me like this? Have you ever asked a question like that? Now, what's so amazing, because you're connected to the infinite, when you make a bad ask, the universe still gives you an answer. Because the universe loves you so much, the universe assumes that you actually want a reason why things are going. So the universe will actually try to add a level of intelligence to insanity. And do you actually care why your life isn't working? Do you actually care why nothing in your life works? No. The better question is, what's the easiest way for everything in my life to move smoothly and easily? How is it that I can move from moment to moment being more and more blessed? Why is it that my life is working at greater and greater levels? What I want you to see is over and over again, there's this ability to make strong declarations, powerful declarations about the spiritual truth of the world that you want to live in. And then to follow it up with a really interesting ask that actually clarifies and brings it into greater power what you're declaring. To say, so what is the easiest way for me to live in absolute abundance? What is the easiest way for me to heal every cell of my body? What is my path to greater relationships? What is my way of creating work that is totally meaningful for me? What I want you to see is over and over again that powerful ask and powerful declarations allow you to create the life that you want, but stop asking for what you don't want. Stop asking questions that you don't really want the answer to. And instead begin to ask for what you do want. And the most amazing thing is, I want you to simplify your ask to the simplest component. You need to make rent this week? Let's just ask for it. What's the easiest way for me to make rent this week? Right? If you want a greater loving relationship, God, show me the path to more loving relationships. God, how do I heal my body from this situation? I want you to be so clear in your ask and then follow it up with a declaration. God is my source. Every cell of my body is healing now. I want you to have an ask and a declaration. I want you to have an ask and a declaration. Okay, let's go to Scripture. Because every week I want you to have a miracle, one of the miracles of Jesus. And I want you to have something to hang on to. Because so every week I'm going to give you one of the miracles of Jesus so that you can see over and over again how he did it. So in this week we're going to do Matthew 8, beginning with verse 5. And Jesus entered Capernaum, and the centurion came forward to him and said, and beseeched him, saying, Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home and in terrible distress. Okay? So what did he start with? What's a beseech? Beseech is an ask, right? It's a form of ask. He beseeched him. The centurion beseeched him, right? And said, Lord, my servant is lying paralyzed at home and in terrible discomfort. And then Jesus said to him, I will come and heal him. But the centurion answered him, saying, Lord, I am not worthy to have you come under my roof. But you only have to say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I am a man under authority with soldiers under me. And I say to one, go, and he goes. And another, come, and he comes. And to my slave I say, do this, and he does it. And then Jesus heard them and marveled and said to them, all that were in presence, said, truly I say to you, even in Israel I have not found such faith. And to the centurion he said to him, go, be it done unto you as you have believed. And the servant was healed in that moment. Okay. So did the centurion make an ask? Was he very clear about what he asked for? Was there any ambiguity in that ask? Did Jesus have to sit down and figure out what he really wanted? Did he have to play 20 questions with him? No, it was a straight up ask. This is what I want, right? This is what I want. Then what happened? Can you see that then Jesus makes a decree? Because the centurion has absolute faith. He says, you shall say a thing, right? He says, I say to my men, go here and go there, and they go here and they go there. I say to this one, do this, and he does that. I say to this one, come, and he comes. That he's absolutely comfortable with the power of making a decree. He is a man of authority. He's absolutely comfortable with the power of authority. He doesn't back down from it one iota. He says, you don't even have to come to my house. Don't walk. Don't put the steps. I know who you are. I know the spiritual power that you have. You shall decree a thing, and it will be established unto you. And what does he do? He decrees it, and it's done. It's done. What if that level of power was also given to you? That you get to make an ask, and then you get to decree the outcome for which you have spoken. If you say to the universe, this is where we're going, guess what? This is where we're going. If you say you want this to come into your life, guess what? It's going to come into your life. If you say you want this to happen and you decree it, it will happen. So we have the power to ask. And sometimes when we ask, we're asking for our own awareness. We're asking for the path to be revealed. We're asking for a greater understanding of how to live in infinite goodness, how to have miracles in our life, how to heal our body, how to live in greater abundance. And as we ask, we're actually asking the wisdom of our own higher self. We're asking that Spirit of God in us to reveal that which we desire to know. And that's why it's so important that we actually ask for what we want. Let's do a couple, shall we? Let's start with an ask. Spirit, show us the easiest way for us to be blessed. Spirit, show me the way to my miracle. Spirit, show me how to heal every cell of my body. Spirit, teach me how to access infinite abundance. Spirit, show me how to heal this relationship with this person. Spirit, show me my right and perfect job. Lead me on the path to my right and perfect job. Reveal to me my right and perfect life partner. See, we have the ability to ask for exactly what we want and then declare it as already done, because spiritually it's already happened. Now, how many of you have read the book of Affirmations by Noah St. John? If you haven't, we have some in the bookstore. One of the things that's absolutely, I love this book. He's got a couple books that I just love. One of the things that he talks about in this book that I think is so important that you hear is he gives us a way when we want to make an affirmation, but we know that we're carrying a little bit of resistance or a little bit of disbelief. Do you ever do an affirmation and there's a part of you going, I'm not sure? Right? So I want to declare that I believe. But for some of us, when we declare, I am one with the infinite goodness of God, right, let's just say that. I am one with the infinite goodness of God. There's a part of us that is challenged with totally believing. True? So he gives questions as a way of transforming that. Like, instead of being in a place of resistance with your declaration, be in a bigger question. Spirit, show me how to live in absolute abundance. Spirit, show me the easiest way for me and my family to live in pure good. Show me the way. Because once you ask a question, there's no resistance. You're just wide open to the answer. That sometimes when we make a declaration, as powerful as they are, it can create a little bit of resistance. But when you follow it up with a question, then your soul just gets interested. I am interested in a miracle. I am interested in miracles in every area of my life. You ready? So your homework for this week is twofold. I want you to come up with a powerful declaration about your miracle. And I also want you to come up with a very inspiring question that unleashes the infinite within you so that you have a path not only to declare it, but to ask for that which you desire most to be revealed to you. Will you pray with me? I invite you to open your mind, your heart, your soul to the activity of God that is right here, right now. And today we tap into the miracle of asking and the miracle of making declarations. And that as a spiritual being, we have been given the very power of God. We have been given the blessings of God. We have been given the kingdom of heaven right here, right now, that it's already present. And today we ask, over and over again, Spirit, show us the way. Spirit, reveal that which we need to know. Spirit, open the door to infinite good. And to make huge declarations, huge statements of truth. I am one with the infinite. Every cell of my body is responding to the power of God. I am whole and complete and lacking in nothing. I am God's beloved child. Today we declare the truth. We declare it. And we ask that the kingdom be revealed over and over and over again. In the name and through the power of the living Christ, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. God bless you all. Have a great week. Okay, are we ready to bless our kids? Come on, let's shoot it up there. Here we go. You are a perfect child of God. God and I love you just the way you are. Okay, who's leading us in our prayer for protection? Together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of
God enfolds us. The power of God watches over us.
and the presence of God
Watches over us.
wherever we are. God is. Well done. All right, everybody stand and sing together our song of peace. Let there be peace on earth.
and
Let it begin with me. Let
there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be the solemn vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
God bless you all and have a great week. Thanks for being here.